the Town of Abingdon Planning Commission to order. I'd like to start out with a roll call, please.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Mr. Johnson?
Present.
Mr. Weaver? Mr. Pennington?
Present.
Mr. Sproles?
Present.
Mr. Wilson?
Present.
And Mr. Schuman.
All right, thank you. I'm going to move to the approval of minutes from our meeting of March 27th, 2023. I assume everybody's had a chance to look those over. Any comments or?
I'd like to move we approve them as presented.
All right, we have a motion to approve. A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right. We don't need to do a roll call for that, do we? All right, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously with the folks that are here. Okay. This portion of the meeting we open to public comment. Anyone that wants to speak about items that are not on the agenda is welcome to come up and address the Planning Commission. Do we have anyone signed up tonight? No? No? Okay. All right. Move on to the next item. Certificate of appropriateness / special use permit. Certificate of appropriateness for Los Dorados, 414 Cummings Street, Avenue, Virginia, 24210. Certificate of appropriateness for signage, tax map 020-13-1. And the staff want to give us a little synopsis of what's going on here.
Gabriel Christofari, Town of Abington. So yes, Angel Cardenas, applicant/owner of Jerry Signs, and Jerry Signs representative have requested approval of a certificate of appropriateness for a new wall sign and tenement panel installed into an existing open space on the tenant monument sign structure located near the entrance into the shopping plaza located at 414 Cummings Street, and it's in a B2 zone. Some background here: Los Dorados will be occupying Los Arcos, former location. The proposed signage will be placed in the same location Los Arcos had their signage. Access to the site will continue to be Cummings Street. Some staff findings: the proposed Los Dorados portion of the wall sign measures 250 inch by 24 inch, equaling 41.6 square feet. The Mexican restaurant portion of the wall sign measures 190 inches by 20 inches, giving you 26.3 square feet, giving a total square footage of the proposed wall sign to be 67.9 square feet. The total length of the primary elevation is roughly 38.2 feet, making the allowable square footage 76.4 square feet. The square footage for the proposed wall sign meets Abington's general sign standards. The proposed wall signage will be fabricated out of channel letters with acrylic faces and metal surrounds, as seen in the rendering provided. This type of signage is found on either side of 414 Cummings Street at Charlie's and Swirled. Signage will be internally illuminated using the existing electrical connection previously utilized by the former business that was there. There will be two 4-foot by 8-foot acrylic signs with vinyl graphics installed into the existing tenant monument sign structure located near the entrance of the shopping plaza, as you can see in your packet there. If there's any other questions for me, answer them, but this is pretty standard one, it meets everything, so it's just taking place of business application.
All right, thank you. Any discussion or questions or anything? Do we have a motion then?
I'll make the motion to present or to approve as presented.
I hear a second.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion, further discussion?
I was just looking up to see what Dorados means.
All right, enlighten us.
Well, it's a type of Mexican food. It's also similar to mahi-mahi.
Okay,
I was curious about that.
good to know, thank you. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Austin?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Pennington?
Aye.
Mr. Sproles?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda. This is a request for a special use permit to convert property to multifamily use. Rebecca W. Brown, Revocable Trust LLC owner, and Catherine Brown Purnell, applicant, have requested approval of a special use permit per section 15-9 of the Town of Abington zoning ordinance to convert the site from a single-family to multifamily use, 3 units, located at 142 East Main Street, Abington, Virginia, tax parcel 013-1-117. And it's noted that this property is currently zoned Old and Historic District. Do we have staff report on this, please?
Yes, so Rebecca W. Brown, Revocable Trust LLC owner, and Catherine Brown Purnell as the applicant have requested approval of a special use permit per section 15-9 of the Town of Abington zoning ordinance to convert the site from a single-family to multifamily use, 3 units, located at 142 East Main Street. And as Mr. Wilson said, it's in the Old and Historic District. Some background, the structure currently is utilized as a single-family rental property described as the Fountain Inn on Main Street. In order to allow for the structure to be compatible with the requirements of the zoning, the applicant must obtain the special use permit. Access to the site will continue to be either East Main Street or Troopers Alley. Topography, the parcel is relatively flat in this location with a general slope to the south. The parcel is located on a slight hill directly near the intersection of East Main Street and Pecan Street. And the property in question, it's adjoined by properties zoned OH on its north, east, and west side, with limited business to the south. Some staff findings. The application indicates the applicant wishes to provide short-term rentals for area using both the main and accessory structure. The ground floor apartment will be 1 unit. The first and second floor will be a 2nd unit, and the accessory structure, which is kind of in the corner of the lot, will be converted into a 3rd unit. No exterior aspects of the structure concerning the conversion from a single family to multifamily use are proposed. Therefore, there is no requirement for the HBRB review of the design. This is strictly a decision for the Planning Commission on the use. The applicant has finished renovating the other rooms located throughout the structure, started by the previous owner. The applicant is using the existing floor plan of the structure's main and accessory buildings, not creating any additions to the structure. So they're not cutting it up at all, it's using the existing floor plan that's there. Like I said, in the main structure, there will be 2 units, with one being on the ground floor / basement level, and the other occupying the 1st and 2nd floors. The accessory structure is proposed to be converted into an accessory dwelling unit. There are 2 kitchens within the main structure. A kitchen will be installed in the proposed accessory dwelling unit upon approval of this request. The parking standards indicated there is a requirement for 6 parking spaces. The site has a garage located at the back of the parcel fronting Troopers Alley that can accommodate 3 cars. The driveway into the garage can accommodate 1 to 2 additional vehicles. Another driveway connecting to Pecan Street leads to a small parking space for a vehicle. In addition to the 6 parking spaces associated with the garage area, an additional 2 parking spots directly in front of the structure can be found on Main Street, which cannot be counted but do exist. The applicant has enough parking according to the zoning code. Landscaping on the site, landscaping is prevalent throughout. You have a lot of trees, foliage, bushes, all kinds of different vegetation, so that's met. And there's no change to the garbage collection for this one either, so meets everything. Some staff conditions we do have though. Any exterior changes must apply for certificate of appropriateness for HBRB, so that's just in the future if something arises. They have to go through the HBRB first before coming back to you. Change of occupancy is required for the accessory structure, and building permits are required for all renovations. So those are our staff recommended conditions. If you have any questions for me, I can answer them. If not, set aside.
Tell me a little bit more about the accessory structure. I have seen it, of course, many times. It appears to be quite small. What's contained in it? Does it have a number of separate rooms, or?
It's just 1 room.
Just 1 room?
Yeah, it's just 1 open space.
Bathroom?
I think that would have to be added in kind of thing, but that's part of the building stuff of it. And so for the kitchen, as if I'm remembering correctly from what the building official said on their site visit, they would just need a kitchen sink in there for it to be addressed as a kitchen. And speaking with the applicant, she was looking to be a very short-term one for like hikers on the creeper trail, use it for children away. And it is very small too. It's less concrete floor, and it's just one room. So that's all it is. And access is granted from Trooper's Alley. It's got like a little walkway. If you're going towards the garage, it's just like right there, the door's right there.
Yes.
So,
And that does qualify as a dwelling?
yeah, it can be, yeah. It just has to have the kitchen sink in it and then the kitchen and everything, so.
But it doesn't have a bathroom
No,
or
I don't think it has anything.
kitchen?
Yeah,
So
so it'd have to
any,
be accommodated.
any approval will be contingent upon
Mhm.
following up?
Yes.
Okay, and they are intending to use the garage as parking spaces?
Yes, that was my understanding from being on site.
Yeah, because otherwise it doesn't meet it.
Yeah, so that was our.
Pecan Street with the gate closed, you're only 13 feet deep.
Yeah, that was understanding that they were gonna use the garage as part of their things, because the garage is connected into the structure. It's one big structure, but it looks like it's multiple ones when you're looking from the outside.
Okay.
Do you want to address,
I'll be glad to answer any questions regarding it.
okay.
So it does have a full bath.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to step up here, tell us your name and address, and we'd be glad to hear from you. Sure.
So I'm here to represent Lori, and my name is Jacob King. I'm also a resident here in Abingdon. She's on the phone actually, so if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer that. It does have a full bath, and it's a single room structure.
The accessory structure
The
does
accessory
have.
structure, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're straight on the parking, or?
Yeah. I went out and measured everything, and I was just confused as to whether or not you were actually gonna use the garage.
Okay.
Those were gonna count, or you were parking 3 outside.
Okay.
So-
Did you have an answer for the questions on the parking?
To be clear, she needs 6 parking spaces for everybody to use the different facilities. So she has to have 6 total available parking spaces. So at the moment, there's space outside, there's 3 garage spaces, and then she has 1 space on the side. So according to the zoning, it meets it, but they're asking, is she actually going to allow the garage space to be used as parking?
Correct, yes. The intention is to use the garage as part of the parking spaces, and it's going to be included as a regular use of the rental.
Okay.
Any other questions? No. I do have a question, Diana. What,
Yeah.
we have this listed as a special use permit, but also in the packet, we have notice of public hearing to the neighbors for
Yes.
tonight. So we are also having a public hearing.
Yes, you should have a public hearing after this. You should open it up. You are correct. That might not have been apparent on the
Yeah, it's not
agenda.
on there.
Yes.
Okay, so theoretically, we can approve a special use permit before the public hearing, okay.
Yes, so it's been
Okay.
advertised as a public hearing, so you should, pretty much after the applicant's done speaking, then open it up for public comment as a public hearing.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, if there's no other questions up here, we will open up the public hearing for anyone that wants to speak to this issue. For or against? Okay, I guess I can declare the public hearing closed. With that, do we have anyone that wants to bring up a motion?
I make a motion that the COA be approved as submitted with the stipulation that staff follows up to ensure the improvements required for the dwelling unit on the accessory building are completed and complied with.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second, is there any further discussion? If not, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Austin?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Pennington?
Aye.
Mr. Sproles?
Aye.
And Mr. Wilson?
Aye. All right, thank you. Okay, we move now into public hearings for a zoning text ordinance amendment. to add language allowing an HPRB board member to have a possible third consecutive term.
So yeah, so the reasoning for this was one of our HBRB members was coming up at the end of the term, and in the past, sometimes we've had trouble having applicants fill that vacant spot. So fortunately for us, somebody did apply for his position, so we didn't have to do that, but we thought this would be a good thing to have just as a safety net in a way. So the only thing we're changing here really is, I'll just read you the little text that we're inputting in here, is if after 2 consecutive terms of a 3-year period have been fulfilled and no individual applies or is appointed following a 30-day period, the vacant position on the board may be filled by the same individual who vacated said position for another 3-year term. There shall be no more than 3 consecutive terms. So they would still have to come off for a quick period of time, but it wouldn't be like sometimes we waited months and months and months for it to be filled. And the HBRB is really important to have that background knowledge of all the sites and everything. And so that's why we kind of put this in here just as a safety net for us in a way. This way we're not waiting 6 months for somebody to come on. So.
And my only question to that, and I don't have a real strong feeling about it, I don't suppose, but I wonder if 30 days is a sufficient period of time to get the word out to other persons who would like to apply for those positions. And as I read that, I was thinking, you know, would 60 days be more appropriate under these circumstances? And again, I don't have a real strong feeling, but I just wanted to say that and see what others thought about it.
Well, my other comment, and I said this last time, but you used to be able to go on the town website and look up like HPRB, and it would list every person and the date that they expired, their term expired. And as far as I know, you can't do that now. And so that would be helpful, because then people,
Yes.
because I used to do that every once in a while, look and see, oh, who's going on rec commission or whatever, to see if there was gonna be an opening coming up. But I don't believe, I haven't checked it since the last time, but
No, you brought that up, and we can add that. One of the things, just so that we understand the process, because 60 days may be more appropriate. So the town clerk initiates looking for another member for all of our boards, and then the town council is who actually appoints the members. So she does go through the process of advertising and looking for folks. So now HPRB, you know, this time we had somebody apply. BZA is actually the one that's a harder board, because they really only meet, they don't meet that frequently, so we have a harder time finding people who want to engage with that board. In fact, Cam said, should you just do this for every board? So there has been some additional chatter about it. But yes, I agree, we keep it, I mean, we have all that information in a spreadsheet, so we can easily add it to the website. But you know, again, that's a process that we can definitely do.
I kind of feel it should be for all boards, just because like for years, the rec commission, you couldn't get anybody to
Mhm.
apply for it. So, you know, I did like 4 in a row, probably illegally, but I was on there. But anyway, so I agree with the 60 days. I think
Okay.
that's better in my mind. But I also think it should probably just be across for every board that
Yeah.
we have.
And some of these are just, they have bylaws, and so it's kind of easy to amend them behind the scenes, and then others, like HPRB, gain their power from the actual zoning ordinance. So this one is sort of the initiation, I guess, where we could apply them to more boards. And if that's a recommendation, I'll take that as well. So 60 days, and then maybe apply it to additional boards. Okay.
And you all used to maintain a list of interested applicants, I thought, at one time.
We don't, because it's never been in our wheelhouse. I mean, we're not
Mhm.
responsible, as in like, it's not even sort of suggested that we approach it from that perspective, since it really is a town council action. So we don't.
Well, no, I think you put it on the website, and then 60 days, anyone interested will have ample opportunity.
Okay. So the motion then, if somebody wants to make it, would basically be to initiate this zone text amendment with the with the, change for a 60-day period.
I would so move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, I guess we can roll call.
Okay. Mr. Austin?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Pennington?
Aye.
Mr. Sproles?
Aye.
And Mr. Wilson?
Aye. All right, next item, old business or matters not on the agenda. I guess we don't have anything. Any announcements? None? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That jumped mine.